All right. Well, that was very fun. Knicks lose their second straight game to the Pacers of Indiana, the hated Pacers. My most hated team growing up, although your mileage may vary between them and the Heat. Or if you're a little bit older, I guess the Bulls. Or if you're older than that, Celtics. But it's never good to lose to any of those teams. And I certainly hate losing to this team. Final score, 111-98. A couple things to start off with before I get into the actual game. One, I'm sure there will be people who will want to focus in on the refereeing in this game. It was a very poorly reffed game. I don't even know that it was necessarily much worse for the Knicks than it was for the Pacers. It was just a really badly reffed game. And but that's certainly not why the Knicks lost this game. The Knicks lost this game because Miles Turner and Goga Bitadze, and if you want to throw in Torrey Craig, combined to go 11 of 17. Did I get that right? Yeah, 11 of 17 from three. You could point to the fact that Brogdon was 0 for 4, Justin Holiday was 0 for 7, but the Knicks game plan since Tom Thibodeau took over this team has been pretty clearly like, look, we're going to concede some things. And one of the things they have always conceded is, I forgot the biggest shot of the game, TJ McConnell hitting the corner three. One of the things they've always conceded is 3-point shots to not great 3-point shooters. And Miles Turner, if you're going to hit 7 of 10 from deep, well, you're going to hit 7 of 10 from deep. That's one of the reasons why they lost. They also just didn't play very well. They missed a lot of shots they would normally make. I will have some commentary on the fact that they only took 24 3-pointers and they only made 5. I think that is an issue in terms of how teams are guarding them now that they're going to have to deal with. More on that in a bit. And Pacers just made a lot of good shots. Pacers made big shots left and right. And the Knicks didn't really make any big shots, if we're being honest. I can't think of a single, I don't think they made a huge three. It was just, they just didn't make a lot of good shots. Last thing I want to say before I get into the super chat and I get into some of the specifics of the game, for anybody who's the Knicks were 5-2 and they lost to a 2-6 team, how dare they? Pacers are not a 2-6 team. I understand they have a 2-6 record. They lost 2 games by a point. They also beat Miami. The only team in the league to beat Miami so far. They're a good team. They're a 500 team at least. They'll be in the play-in, if not the playoffs. They're healthy now. Not a great matchup for the Knicks, especially if their bigs are hitting threes. They got good screen setters and Brogdon, who drives, LeVert, who drives. Knicks had trouble, matching up with those guys and obviously staying in front of those guys. That said, for as much as New York did give up 111 points, I thought their defense was not nearly as bad as it was in the second half against Toronto. I'll say that. I thought they played, they played pretty hard. They played pretty well on defense at times. It wasn't consistent. It was not as hard as we saw them play last year. If they played that hard on defense and if they played as consistently as last year, would they have won this game? Yeah, maybe. Maybe that's how they won games last year. They just by, clawed tooth and nail and stuck around until someone would make a big shot. But they're in a bit of a funk right now. That said, it's 8 games into the season, 10% of the season. They're 5-3. Disappointing loss, not a great game, poorly played game from specific players that we will talk about. I'm not going to lose a lot of sleep over this one. That said, it's 2 losses in a row. Playing the world champs on Friday. Then, tricky game against Cleveland. Then you got a rematch against Philadelphia. Man, the East is good. The East is good, especially if you're going to lose to a team like Orlando, especially if you're going to lose to a team like Toronto. Those are supposed to be 2 of the 4 worst teams in the East. Cavs are playing respectably. So, yeah, the East is tough. It's not going to be easy. That's why I was always kind of hesitant to be too crazy about this team's ceiling, just because there's a lot of good teams, and if you don't play really, really well, you're going to lose those games. And the Knicks did not play really, really well tonight. The Knicks didn't play really well. The Knicks didn't even play good. They kind of played bad. Okay, let's get to the super chats. I saw Travis Drawd in the it was made a super chat comment before I even logged on here. So thank you to you, Travis. Abysmal game. Abysmal's a little strong. It was not a good game. That's all I got. Too many things stick out to mention. Just one. Long time watcher, first time super chatter. Keep it up, KFS. Thank you. There were a lot of little things and a lot of little poor performances. Also, just some weird stuff. Like Kemba Walker was 2 of 11. He was 0 of 5 from deep. Julius Randle, we'll talk more about him. He was 6 of 16. Some bad shots. I did not think, I was almost afraid about what kind of game he was going to come out with. And forced couple. I also thought there were a lot of stretches of the game where he was overly looking to make a pass. Made a lot of quick passes, drove into the teeth of the defense and then kicked it out. He's trying to find his way. It's just not there for him. It's not coming naturally. He's not letting the game come to him. I would argue that what Julius is doing right now is the opposite of letting the game come to him. But again, I'm certainly not putting this on Julius. Fournier, 1 of 5 from deep. RJ, who hasn't really missed from deep this year, 2 of 6. Burks was the only guy who was above board, 2 of 5. Okay. Dom Cappuccini, I think our half-court D was worse than our transition tonight. I don't see it as a good sign when looking improvement on total D. I know Peyton isn't the answer. I think they struggled with the Pacers, the fact that they have two guys. Brogdon's obviously their nominal point guard, but as far as I'm concerned, Karis LeVert is he's not a point guard, obviously, but he's definitely a secondary playmaker. He can definitely put the ball on the floor, make the right pass. Made a lot of shots tonight. The Knicks struggled to stay in front of those guys. And even RJ, look, we've all sung RJ's praises left and right all season long. I didn't think RJ was particularly great on defense tonight. I thought LeVert got him a couple times. That said, RJ Barrett was the best defender on the Knicks. He was the best player on the Knicks. He's been the best player on the Knicks now 4 games in a row. He was certainly the best offensive player on the Knicks, even though we finished only 8 of 20. Obviously, we'll talk more about him. But they didn't really have an answer. Like Sabonis, Turner, these guys set good screens, and if those guys are then picking pop threats, you leave a guy like Mitchell Robinson and Nerlens Noel, you leave those guys in really tough positions. Like if their centers are going to hit threes with a guy like Sabonis down low and a guy like Brogdon, that's a really tough team to play. That said, could the Knicks have defended better? Yeah, it's but it's tough. This is a good matchup it's a bad matchup for the Knicks. Rough game is from Ryan Huang. Rough game, can't win shooting the three like that. Don't like how the first unit seems to always run through Randle and Fournier, even when RJ's hot. I think RJ got his looks tonight. I mean, RJ shot 20 shots, more shots than anybody else on the team. He got 3 assists. There were other possessions where he didn't shoot it. You're not going to run into RJ every time. There's going to have to be a balance here between Randle, RJ, Fournier, Walker. That was always one of the concerns. You're bringing in a lot of talent. Guys that are used to having the ball in their hands. How are you going to juggle all this? And now we're 8 games in. It's pretty apparent to all of us that, okay, RJ seems like he might be emerging as the best player on this team, which is amazing to say, but it's true. Where's the adjustment? How do you figure that out? It's not going to be okay, we're featuring RJ on every possession. There's going to have to be a balance. And I for as much as these guys got a lot of open threes in the opening 4 games, I don't know that they've really learned how to play with each other yet. At least when teams are going to play them like this. And that's the other main point that I wanted to make, and then I'll get to the rest of the super chats, is it seems like now 2 games in a row, teams are saying, we are not going to let you rise up from 3. We are going to make you put the ball on the floor, and specifically, we're going to make you shoot from whatever it is, long mid-range, short mid-range, try to get to the rim. And that's kind of the dirty little secret is like, you know, Kemba Walker's not great at getting all the way to the rim right now. Evan Fournier he's okay at it. The only guy who's great at getting to the rim right now is RJ, and he's been converting there. Randall, he had some nice drives tonight. I want to give him props for that. He had some really nice drives tonight. He also had some drives that were not so nice, and that looked like they were forced. But the Knicks, I mentioned it in the newsletter today. The Knicks are by far the worst team in the league from the long mid range. They are hitting, before tonight, they were hitting 29% from the long mid-range, and I'm fairly certain that number went down after tonight. Teams are going to give them that. They're like 15th in the league at shooting those. Again, that number is going to probably go up. They need to figure out how to counter when teams are trying to counter what they're trying to do. But, they're not getting those clean three-point looks that they were in those first handful of games. I'll be curious to see what Tibbs does to try to get them more of those shots, because clearly that's what they want to do. We'll see how that goes. Robert McGinley, 6 for 16 from Julius and 2 of 11 from Kemba, just isn't going to cut it. Yeah, no secret there. Can't completely blame that game on Miles Turner going off. No, not completely. But you don't expect Miles Turner to go 7 of 10 from deep. Yeah, the Knicks didn't honestly, the way the Knicks played, this felt like a game they should have lost by 20. And the fact that this was a 2-point game in the fourth quarter, honestly, was a bit miraculous to me. And I think is a testament to the character of the team. And they didn't give up. They didn't give in. They kept fighting. I did think the defense ratcheted up a lot. I mean, they only gave up, what did they give up? After 36 points in the first quarter, last 3 quarters, 23, 21, and 31. And that last number is a little deceiving because it got a little crazy at the end there, but it's just, again, bad game. Rage X, defense more important than the 3-pointer. I would agree with that. I don't give a F. Miles Turner should never be allowed to hit 7 threes. Pathetic. I hate our new 3-point identity. Give me my defense back. I love our new 3-point identity. I think that's a bad comment. You need to win. You need to win with the 3 in the NBA today. Good teams could hit threes. Ideally, yes, you want to have a great defense too. Milwaukee won the championship with defense last year. The Miami Heat are winning with defense this year. They don't have a ton of great 3-point shooters. So yeah, of course you have to be better at defense. And I think but at the same time, you can't win if you're a defense only team. The Knicks were as good at defense as there was in the league last year. They didn't stand a chance in the playoffs. You need both. Now, I think they made a trade-off of 3-point shooting for they gave up a little defense, for a little creativity on offense, for a little 3-point shooting. I don't know that I would say that this is now their identity. I think they're still finding their identity. I think that's actually part of the problem. And again, I have zero problem with them letting Miles Turner take 10 threes or shots from deep. That's the game plan. If you're gonna no NBA team can stop everything. You have to concede something. That said, a couple of those looks, absolutely. Would I have liked Mitch or Nerlens or whoever the hell was guarding him, Batase too, to get out a little bit more? Sure. But then you have to worry about the guy putting the ball on the floor. Again, you can never have your cake and eat it too. You always got to concede something. I think, again, the Knicks are trying to find their way. I do not think this is a bottom 5 or 10 defense. I think they're going to wind up at the top 15 in defense, probably closer to the top 10. I think they'll figure that out. It's a Thibodeau coach team. They'll get there. It's early. But they needed the life in their offense because if they didn't get that, they would have been screwed. Wixell Metellus. We need to stop this 3-point shooting strategy. Our guys can't even hit their free throws. I don't know how to respond. It's an odd comment after a game in which they took 24 threes. They actually took way less threes than they've been shooting. The free throw thing, I don't know. Guys are just cold from the free throw line. It is what it is. This is definitely, I tell you, man, it's funny. You give a fan base a little expectations, and Steve's 5-3. And they've been frustrating. Don't get me wrong; they've been incredibly frustrating to watch. Much more frustrating than a 5-3 team should be. But it makes you say some crazy things like the Knicks. Why are the Knicks shooting so many threes? Terrible. Like, come on, guys. We've been waiting. We've been waiting for this team to modernize for a very long time. It's long overdue. You need to have a modern offense. The adjustment has been difficult. That part of it, though, that's still heading in the right direction. I hate the fact that they only got up 24 threes tonight. That was abysmal. Again, another reason they lost the game is because they just couldn't take more threes. They couldn't make more threes, obviously, and they dribbled into a lot of tough shots, into some long twos I didn't love. Rim protection was good for Indiana. Threes are going to win you more games than they'll lose you more games. Aussie Knicks fan. Feels like this is becoming RJ's team in front of our eyes. I could not agree more. If you were Tibbs, what's one thing you would change for the next game? That's a great question. I don't really know. Again, they only took 24 threes. They only made 5 of them. That's odd. Like, even though the Pacers were playing really solid out on the perimeter, and by the way, that's something the Pacers have been doing, for a while. They're very good at that. I think they'll hit more. I think he needs to figure out a way to spring them for more threes. So for apologies to anyone who's like the Knicks should shoot fewer threes. I loved the fact that they were shooting 40 whatever threes a game. I want them to go back to that, because if you shoot that many and they're decent looks, they're going to go in, and the Knicks have good 3-point shooters. Putting tonight aside. The Flying Machine Collective. I think it's time to give Grimes a look. Young Lido. I stare at Grimes with every quickly brick. Wow, that cannot be a coincidence that those two comments came back to back. Look, so this is where I start to become an unpopular guy on these post-game live streams. I am all for giving Quickly a longer leash. If Quickly was going out there, wasn't looking to make the right play, if he was going on one-on-one in situations that didn't warrant it, if he was dogging it on defense, any of those things, I would say absolutely, 100%. Give the kid a look. He's not doing any of that. He's going out there. He's playing hard. He's playing good defense. I think he's been one of their better defensive players this year. He was starting to find a little bit tonight. I think he had a couple shots. I understand it's still not there for him on offense. He was 2 of 5. Didn't take a 3-pointer tonight. It's funny. He played 14 minutes, scored 4 points, 2 of 5, and it's just strange that that's the thing we want to go to. Look, guys, this is the roster they put together. This is the rotation they put together. It is this 10-man rotation. It should be this 10-man rotation all year, barring injury. You stick it out. There's very few teams who win every game. There's very few teams that look good every game. Guys are going to have slumps. Guys are going to be in bad places sometimes. It just so happens that Emmanuel Quickly is in not a great place right now, and it's early in the season. Give him time. He was one of the 5 best rookies last year. I would argue he was one of the 3 or 4 best rookies last year. I think he'll be good. I think he'll be fine. I think your patience will be rewarded. They got Grimes on year 1 of a 4-year rookie contract. They're going to get more than enough time to look at Quentin Grimes. I promise you. What else we got? Kyle Smith. It's early in the season, but the point of attack D is looking bad, and guys aren't helping in the paint to contest shots. I thought the help in the paint tonight was tough because Miles Turner and Goga Bitadze are hitting threes. So the centers that are in the game have to pay a little bit of attention to those guys out on the 3-point line. The problem is they didn't really stop either, right? They were trying to have their cake and eat it too, and they got neither. I did not think Mitch. I think Mitch played. I don't know if it was his worst game of the season. It seemed like Mitch was his impact. I know he had 3 blocks. I think all of them were in the first quarter. It seemed like his impact was a little muted. Thought Noel was fine. We haven't talked about Noel. I thought Noel was okay. But yeah, D Black shot glass half full take. Why only a shot glass? You got to get nice beer half full. This is not about talent or attitude. This is execution. We have the right players and coaching staff to fix execution. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. They played poorly. I wrote it today, and I think I said it probably 2 nights ago. I don't see any systemic issues with this team that can't be fixed. Now, to be very clear, once they fix the execution stuff and they get in a rhythm and they get on a roll, hopefully, knock on wood, I don't think that's going to make them a contender by any stretch. But I think we're going to hopefully get out of this habit of coming on here and like the sky is falling because of X, Y, and Z. I still don't think we've seen this team play their best basketball. I think they have it in them, and they'll be better. And again, it's funny. We're saying this all about a 5-3 team. Louis Emirat. 2 things. 1, what's your opinion on what's wrong with Randall right now? 2, remember fans debating if RJ would get a max. LOL. Tibbs has to give him the keys. Yeah, no disagreement. More looks for RJ. Again, did lead the team in shots today, which is notable. Yeah, if RJ keeps playing like this, he's getting – that's a day 1 max right there. On what's wrong with Randall, I think Randall's still overthinking it. I think he's not letting the game come to him. I think he is trying to figure out how to be – because here's the thing. Tibbs' whole thing is you got to draw – like that's Tibbs' philosophy is draw doubles, draw 2 to the ball. If you've listened to any Thibodeau press conference since he's come here, it's 2 to the ball. 2 to the ball makes the right pass. Implied in 2 to the ball is if you're Julius Randle and you just made the All-Star team and you just finished 8th in MVP voting and you were on the All-NBA second team and you're being guarded and they're not bringing 2 to the ball, or they're like you're being guarded one-on-one and there's like a guy hedging here and a guy hedging there, it's like, all right, well, what do I do? Well, last year, when he had one-on-one coverage, Julius Randle shot it a lot. And he made it a lot. He was really good in those spots. This year, again, I don't have the updated numbers in front of me. He's been abysmal from long range. Sorry, not long range. He's been abysmal from long 2-point range. Tonight, he was 0 of 2 from deep. So he has not been – on the whole, he has not been good from 3-point range. He's struggling to hit the shots that he made last year. We saw it I think it was in the 4th quarter. He had a baseline fadeaway. He hit that shot he hit that shot in his sleep last year. He missed it tonight. He hasn't gotten that shot a lot because again, teams have a book on him now and they're playing him tight, and it's just been a tough go for him. Does this mean he's not a top 20, 30, 40, 50, whatever player in the NBA? That'll reveal itself over the course of the year. I do think he will be fine. I think he will come out of this. What I was encouraged about Julius Randle tonight, and I'll probably spotlight it in the newsletter tomorrow, is I thought he had some really nice drives. And that's the thing that Randle has gotten away from, I think, especially last year, is just putting the ball on the floor and trying to drive to the lane when he's being guarded one-on-one on the perimeter and he has a lane. He had a few nice finishes tonight. Also had some drives where he forced it. Again, trying to find the right balance. It's been 8 games. I'm okay giving him some time, especially with two new teammates in the starting lineup. Dale, please tell Mitch how to set real screens. Dale, it's been an issue now. This is 4 years. I love Mitchell Robinson. I love what he can do for this team. I love how he raises this team's ceiling. 100%. The fact that, and it's tough because if teams are going to play the Knicks the way the defenses seem to be playing them now, which is essentially you're not going to hit threes, we're going to make you drive. I noticed tonight it was a lot of like Kemba Walker, Evan Fournier, RJ Barrett, whoever, just dribbling on the perimeter and trying to beat guys off the dribble without the assistance of a screen. And I wonder if that's because the Knicks don't have a guy who's going to set a really good screen. Mitch sets terrible screens. Noel does not set great screens. Julius Randle doesn't really set great screens. It's never been something he's done a lot. Again, it goes hand in hand with how teams are playing them. I think that would be my suspicion. So yeah, that's definitely an issue. Ryan Hay, I thought Rose should have finished this game. Sure. Again, Rose is old. He's older than Kemba. He was good. Kemba was bad. Do they win the game if Rose finishes? I don't know. Probably not. But maybe. CT Pittman, what's going on, my man? Is it just me, or wasn't the Pacers running pretty much the same plays? Yeah, they were running the same plays, and no, we could not stop them. But we also played against the refs. This one was not called evenly. I don't disagree. That was a flagrant on RJ. It was absolutely a flagrant on RJ. And there were a couple of plays, like, again, on the whole, I don't know that the refereeing was so uneven, but it felt like there were some key moments in this game where the refs made a call that was really egregious. Like the one that sticks out to me is they got it to within 2. Pacers scored a 3, the TJ McConnell 3 that got it back up to 5. And then Rose drives, and Goga Bitadze looks like he clearly fouled him, and it wasn't called, and it was a fast break the other way. Pacers go up by 7. I think the Knicks may have got it within 4 after that, but like that's a really big play. But yeah, they were running the same plays. Knicks couldn't stop it. The Knicks, I mean, look, other than RJ and Mitch, who are your big time defenders now on this team? They need to figure it out as a team. They need to really, but again, to their credit, I do think the second unit defense was really good there in the third quarter and the beginning of the fourth quarter. I thought they brought a lot of energy, a lot of spirit, a lot of toughness. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. They need to figure it out. They need to play. They need to defend better. That said, I love Kemba taking the charge, so I thought that was big. Jason M. Team has issues. Defense is nowhere near last season's defense. That's not wrong. Randall is completely lost. I don't know if he's completely lost. I think he is not found. He's not lost, but he's not found. IQ needs to be benched, okay? RJ isn't ready to carry the team yet. RJ's 21. I think he'll be okay. Adam. Too many guys with off nights. Not worried at all. Bet we'll have a good game against Milwaukee and beat the champs. Noel back is a plus. RJ is most improved player. RJ's going to have some competition for most improved player. Tyler Hero is going to be heard from. OG Anunoby is going to be heard from. Miles Bridges is going to be heard from. But RJ should definitely be in the running. And it's certainly he's one of the 5 names that I would consider right now. Yeah, I look, obviously I'm not doom and gloom like some folks are right now, but I'm not going to say I'm not worried at all, because I think the reason why folks are clearly upset after this game, after the last game, after some of the troubling trends that we've seen from this team this season, is that there is something off. There is something in the water. And this team was so likable last year. Not to say this team was better last year. They were so likable and they were so easy to root for because they always, I think, played the right way. And that isn't to say that there weren't frustrating moments. And obviously we'd get on here and we'd bitch and moan about, Peyton playing it all. And like occasionally a guy would have a game where he'd take too many shots and this and that. But by and large, we always felt like this team's playing the right way. They laid it all out there. They outkicked their coverage. And now the team is more talented. And it seems like it's going in the opposite direction where they're not maximizing that talent. Whether it's are they going to Randall too much? Are they not going to RJ enough? Are they, is the defense slacking? Like all these things, and that is, I think, part of the adjustment of changing some major pieces of your roster. I think there is an adjustment. I don't think, and maybe this was my mistake, the notion that we were just going to bottle up that magic. Like there's a reason all of us fell in love with this team last year. The notion that we were going to bottle up that magic and, just like open it up again this season, I think that was probably a little naive. Like you got to earn that every year and you got to find it. And like even Tibbs said multiple times before the year started, like it's a new season. Well, last season's over. Julius said it recently. Everybody said it. So yeah, something to consider and think about moving forward. Prob Mays. We have lost our identity a little bit on defense for sure. I don't disagree with that. But I think Tibbs will eventually drill it back in. I just hope it's not too late when that happens. I mean, again, they're 5-3. If we were sitting here and they were 3-5, I'd obviously be a little bit more worried. They're still 5-3. So I don't think we're in the territory of like, I hope it's not too late. They got some time to figure this out. That said, it's funny. I kept focusing on these first 16 games. I said they got to get off to a good start in the first 16 games. And they've already played Orlando twice. All of a sudden, the Cleveland game looks not that easy. The Charlotte game at Charlotte looks not that easy. You got one more Orlando game and a Houston game. By the way, Houston's been feisty. And then you got Murderers Row here. Chicago, Lakers, Phoenix, Atlanta, Brooklyn, Chicago, Denver. And then it lets up a little bit, but they really do need to get off to a decent start. And I'd feel a lot better about 6-2 than I would about 5-3. But I don't feel terrible yet. Hush Zoo. So why don't we have Mitch on Sabonis and Julius on the perimeter regarding Miles? Absolutely confusing. I don't know that it would have made that much of a difference. Miles has more of a size advantage on Julius. He can put the ball on the floor. Obviously, Sabonis could put the ball on the floor too. I think that if I had to guess, Domantas Sabonis is the all-star. Miles Turner is not. Tibbs wanted like Julius to guard the guy who is the better player, which probably doesn't sound right because Mitch is like supposedly the best defender. But I think he likes, I think he likes keeping matchups traditional. Like when you start cross matching, like bad things could happen. I don't know. What difference would it really have made? I guess is the point that I'm trying to make. I don't know that it would have made that much of a difference. Julius is also shorter, so like Miles Turner, if he's going to be shooting from three, if Julius is out there on the 3-point line guarding the perimeter, like Miles could just shoot over him if he wants to. So yeah, I don't know. It's not a bad comment, but yeah, I don't know. Again, I don't think that's why they lost this game. Tyler Michaels, Pacers are good when healthy, top 5 team in the East. I don't know. I don't know that I feel comfortable saying anybody's a top 5 team in the East outside of Miami, Brooklyn, and Milwaukee. East is fucking good. And Pacers are good. Tough game. What could the Knicks do differently in the fourth quarter offensively? I didn't like the shots they got. I thought the Pacers D'd up pretty well. Yeah, I thought the Pacers played good defense, and the Knicks just didn't hit shots. I don't know. I'd have to go back and watch it. That's a good question. I will rewatch. A.G. Blatt. I hate to say this because I don't want to defend Alfred, but Kemba is a significant downgrade on defense. I don't agree with that at all. So much penetration by opposing point guards this year. Yeah, they got that against Peyton too. The difference was Bullock was there to clean up a lot of messes. And also, like, here's the difference. Peyton could get around the screen. He was capable of getting around the screen occasionally. He was also, and Zach Lowe has used this term to describe Peyton before. He was a space cadet. He would be completely out of position on defense, and like for no rhyme or reason. So for as much as he added on the table on defense occasionally, he was not a good defender. He was still like an average at best defender. Kemba Walker, like, yes, he allows a lot of penetration. He also takes the charges. We've seen him get in passing lanes some. Like, again, I don't think this team's downfall is going to be Kemba Walker's defense. I think Kemba Walker makes up for it fivefold on offense over what Peyton gave you. Walker just had a bad night. It happens. Jeremy E. I thought they looked better tonight than on Monday. I completely agree with that, 100%. Starting 5 is still getting to know each other. Completely agree. Need to play strong against the Bucks on Friday, though. Yeah, I mean, I don't think Friday is like a must-win game or anything. And again, I thought they they were like we're sitting here and we're complaining. I thought there were some positives tonight. I thought they stayed in it in a game when the Pacers were just hitting so many shots that like are not normally going to get in. The Knicks stayed in it. The Knicks hung tough. This was a 2-point game in the fourth quarter. You know, they didn't play terribly. I know it sucks to lose, but you know, it's I agree they do need to play a little bit better, execute better. To the earlier comment, Ryan Hay, good to see Noel back, but not his Butterfingers. Yeah, Noel. I don't know. I think Taj is better. I've always thought Taj is better. I think it's good to have Noel. I'm not sure that. You know, it's nice to have him back. I thought he played above his head last year. It's his first game back. I'm not gonna. That's why I haven't really talked about Noel. I don't really have much to say. It's first game back, and I thought he looked like it was his first game back. That's really it. Anthony Sixto. I thought Randall took a step in the right direction tonight. I agree. Better body language, looking for RJ, hustle and communication. Agree on all those. As far as Burks, do you think his role off the bench is shifting to me being more defensive? I mean, Burks is like, there's a reason Burks was available last season for $6.5 million for 1 year. Like, he's an imperfect player. I do think he needs to obviously concentrate on defense, but at the same time, like, he was valuable last year because he was a guy who could put the ball on the floor, who could create a little bit on the perimeter. He could hit it off the dribble three. He hit a lot of big threes last year. And you know, he gets to the rim occasionally. He's just kind of like a really nice 8th, 9th guy on a team. He just needs to do what he did last year. I think that's it. As long as he does what he did last year, that's great. But he hasn't so far. He's been a little off. Hold on. I think I missed. Sorry, the chat goes a little. It sends me down to the bottom at times. I don't know why it does that. White Falcon 44. Got it. Oh my god. I think this is a bit at this point. White Falcon 44. Got to trade Randall and Fournier for Paul PG-13. Need a small forward. Yeah, I don't think that's happening. Dan Hidalgo. Overreaction? Question mark. Knicks put themselves at a major disadvantage playing Walker down the stretch. I think it's a bit of an overreaction. I mean, listen, game to game plus minus is not really worth looking at, but just for argument's sake, Walker was minus 11. Rose was minus 2. Rose had 13 points on 11 shots. Walker obviously shot terribly, had 4 points on 11 shots. I don't know. I can't get there, but that's the reason they lost the game. Like, Rose had a good game. He had a solid game. I trust Kemba to the point where, like, if he's having a bad game, I trust him to come in and hit some big threes. He didn't do it tonight. You know, and again, it's not like Derrick Rose is, I don't know, DeJounte Murray out there in terms of defense. He's better, but, you know, I think that the Pacers were having their way with him almost as much as Kemba. Wixel Metellus, the Randall slander needs to stop. We're 5-3, and it's still early in the season. After we made some significant changes in the summer, he'll be okay. Yeah, I completely agree with that. You know, it's tough because I understand why people are frustrated with Randall. But the reason people, I think, are frustrated with Randall is because Randall was so good last year. He was so good. And I think we need to recognize the fact that, like, it's really hard to finish 8th in MVP. It's really hard to make second team All-NBA. Like, some of the greatest players that have ever played the game. Guys who made the top 75 of all time list never made second team All-NBA. James Worthy never made second team All-NBA. Like, I'm sure there's somebody else obvious that I'm forgetting, but, like, it's really fucking hard to be for the league to be like, You were one of the best 10 players in the league this year. That is so hard. And Randall played at that level, and he deserved that designation. And now he's playing like a guy who is just like a good player, a talented player, but a player who's struggling. And, you know, you roll with it. He's earned that right. To me, he's earned the right. He's earned the right to work out the kinks. You don't give up on a guy like that after 8 games. Certainly not. Casey Gray. I don't see why Julius has been playing 37 minutes a night. Obi's more than capable of holding his weight, and maybe some rest could help Ju's effort. See, that's something I will give credence to, because I think Obi's been excellent. I think he's been really good. His ability to put the ball on the floor and finish at the rim at a high level. I think he 3 for 3 tonight. He was 3 for 3 last I remember looking. Let me see here. Yeah, he was 3 for 3. Got to the line once, another time. I don't disagree with that. I mean, I would love to see Obi play 15, 16, 17, 18 minutes a night. I still think, maybe not tonight, not against this matchup, but I still think there's 5 minutes a game out there on most nights where you could play the two of them together. Yeah, I like that comment. Good job, Casey. Forgotten NYC, just curious, at what point do the "it's too early" talk turn into legit panic? 20 games, question mark, all-star break, question mark. I mean, if they're, I don't know, 8-12 after 20 games, it's not early anymore. I've been saying pretty consistently, like, give me somewhere between 15 and 20 games. After 15 and 20 games, I think you know what a team is for the most part. I think we'll know a lot more about what this team is after I've said it all along, 16 games. If this team is like 11-5 somehow after 16 games, then we're in great shape. If they're 9-7, we're like, I don't know, probably looking at a record around 500. If they're worse than that, that's probably an issue. What else we got? You dunk now 2G. Interesting name. Why is our offense so stagnant when we've added more playmakers? P.S. Shut up, Wixel Metellus. JK, that's my boy. LOL. Our offense was ranked 3rd in the league before tonight. They had an off game. They did not execute well. Even the best offenses in basketball are allowed to have stagnant nights. I do not think their offense is stagnant. I think their offense had a bad game. That is what I think. What else we got? And we got a couple. Man, you guys, thank you everybody for your comments in the super chat. Even though I'm disagreeing with a lot of these, I apologize. Neville Humphreys. At the last season, I asked you if Coach Tibbs can study to become a great offensive coach. In my opinion, I believe that the verdict is in and is absolutely no. We are being outcoached. Again, third ranked offense in the league coming into tonight. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe we're watching different games. Maybe I'm watching a different feed. It's a bad game. They had a bad game. They did not execute. Pacers came in, played really good defense. Knicks didn't hit shots. Missed a lot of shots at the rim. I don't know. I don't know what to say to that. Crazy how the sky is falling. Tibbs, NBA Coach of the Year. Can't coach offense. 3rd ranked offense coming in tonight. Tibbs can't coach offense. That's up there. White Falcon, another comment. I love these. These make my day. Rose, RJ, PG-13, Obi, Mitch, Kemba Burks, Batum. Oh, we're getting Batum too now. That's a game changer. Taj Noel. I guess we'll have Taj at the 5, right? Or no, Taj at the 4. I don't know what to do with White Falcon. God love you, White Falcon. Forgotten NYC. To clarify my previous chat, I'm saying specifically for some of our struggling players like IQ or Julius. Oh, okay. Yeah, same answer. 15, 20 games. 15, 20 games is when I think you can start to look at stats. CT Pittman, what's going on again? People got to realize this is real life, not NBA 2K. Some of the trades proposed are ridiculous. Nah, that's just White Falcons. Forgotten NYC. Knicks 0-2 since I last had a chicken cutlet. That is a good way. That is a good way to end this, baby. Okay. Thanks, everybody. Look, I apologize. Everybody's very frustrated. I get it. It sucks to lose a game in which you don't play well. Just, I said this a lot last year, probably early. I said it more than I said it late because I didn't say it late. It's important to keep perspective. It's really hard to win in the NBA. There are a lot of good teams. There's very few bad teams. Teams have game plans. Teams prepare. Teams are well coached. Teams have talent. Teams know what you want to do. Teams prepare to stop you from doing what you want to do. And on top of all that, the Knicks do not have still a guy that's a superstar player. They're going to have these nights as a result of that. It just kind of comes with the territory, but no reason to give up hope. Still got a good team. Still got a 5-3 squad. And I'm still very much looking forward to Friday when hopefully we get a win. So check that out. We got a great podcast also coming up on Friday. Gonna be doing that interview tomorrow, and stay tuned for that. And of course, if you're listening to this on the podcast feed after we get off our live stream, feel free to leave a rating and a review. And I will see everybody on Friday night. Peace out.